Hello, this is John, host of the Prepared Mind channel. I wanted to do a bit of an economic political update here. It has to do with President Trump. I've been critical, very critical of Trump. Back way when he was just in the campaigning process, right? I thought if he acts like his own man, right? If there's an assassination attempt, I believe he could be genuine. And the vote is still out on whether or not he is genuinely his own man or whether he's a puppet. But I want to bring to the front a couple of things about Trump. What is happening? Just in the past few days, more of his enemies are showing themselves. They're playing their hand. From Christine Lagarde at the IMF to Angela Merkel in Germany. And even, internationally, he's got his hands full. He's got the Federal Reserve Chairman, Janet Yellen. She's not coming out and directly addressing it, but she's showing herself, right, to be his adversary. Trump, the whole world is against him. Now, we can talk about all the people in politics here in the United States of America. But even on his side of the aisle, as in he's registered as a Republican, he has people in Congress on his side, right, supposedly, in the House of Representatives and the Senate, who are trying to push and fuck him up. Senator McCain, Senator Lindsey the Pussy Graham, right, to name a few big, staunch, get in the way of whatever's going on politicians. It is beyond the pale. Now, if a regular Republican candidate had managed to beat Hillary and got this far, it's easy to see. It is fantastically easy to see why Republicans cave to Democrat demands every single time. And why, as conservative, freedom-loving Americans, we are so disappointed in the Republican Party. I would love to excoriate them personally. I would put the time in on every Republican for 1 hour to just lay it down to them and tell them what a bunch of pussies they are. But individually and personally, because I'm a personal kind of guy. I have had it with them backing down. And they're even willing to go after their own president because they want to be on the winning side. Republicans in the Congress, House, Senate, they want to feel loved by everyone. Well, I think, even though I don't know if Trump is his own man, he's certainly got the enemies to prove it. Because even within his own party, he has very weak solidarity. Can you imagine being him as the president? I want you to cast your mind. International politicians are giving you a hard time. Members of your cabinet are taking arrows and are quitting and waffling because they can't stand the pressure. Within your own country, your political enemies won't go away and won't give up. The press. I watch press conferences for Trump, with Spicer there speaking. And he fields every question like he's being cross-examined by an attorney in a legal case. Now, when Barack Obama's man stood up there, it was a hand job show, seeing who could jerk him off, who could make him smile the best with the best softball questions. Nobody can tell me any different. I watched. You can hear it in the attitude. What I'm saying is Trump has enemies on all sides, including supposedly his own. Even we the people, even I, watch him like a hawk. Everyone is watching the man. And he doesn't give in. He hasn't quit, and he needs to be supported. At this point, who gives a shit? Right? If he's playing for the powers that be, get it on, get it done. But I believe he's not, right? The signs are leaning the other way. If they wanted to run this country, the powers that be, the evil Illuminati. Don't you think that they could have just had a candidate in there that they could push around instead of putting a candidate in like Trump who becomes president that they have to fight with and put on a good show? Do you think America needed to see this in order to be controlled? No, they could have had any president in there who glad-handed everything and just lied to the American people on camera, as usual. Per Obama, per Bush, per Clinton. Just standing up there and acting like he's just one of the guys and everyone's getting along so well. Trump could have done that. The powers that be could have done that, and he could have just bent over and capitulated to every demand. But Trump is not doing that. He is showing that he has adversaries financially and monetarily here in the United States. Diplomatically, he's got issues with other nations because of the immigration policies. The whole world wants open immigration for these ridiculous Muslims who demand to come into the nations of the West and bring their rotten culture in. It's not really about religion, it's about the culture that is sprang from that religion. So if you want to say it's a religious test, yeah, it kind of seems that way. If you want to say it's a cultural test, yes, because their belief system is their culture is superior. And there are now demands in the United States by Muslims for Sharia law to be accepted. Demanding. I can't even get a court in this country to recognize the U.S. Constitution. But Muslims can come in and demand that Sharia law be accepted and they consider it? Are you out of your mind? What is going on? Right? So Trump is in Washington. And he is battling this evil juggernaut. This left-wing social, I don't even know what to call it anymore. This beast. And it's in the financial sector. It's in the economy. Corporations are kicking and screaming that they don't want to do what he's doing. Politicians are kicking and screaming. And to step it up one bit further, guess who hasn't gone away? Hillary has not gone away. She's out tweeting now. Now, should she be allowed to tweet? Sure. But she's tweeting and commenting politically. Right? She should step back and let the transition of power be completed, finish all cabinet appointees, all bureaucratic appointees, and let Trump start to do his job. They're opposing him before he even does anything. It is disgusting to watch. And Obama is active in Washington, D.C. What he is doing, and you can find the news stories, he has apparently a bunker house, they're calling it the bunker. Reminds me of Hitler and his bunker, right? He's wanting to stay close to the power. And it appears that he has a coup set up, or it's being set up. I mean, I sure hope the FBI is looking in on him. It seems to me that he is bordering on sedition by interfering with the function of our government. And that he's getting foreign money, right, out of Soros to do it. That is what Trump is facing. He's facing that. And this isn't Monopoly, folks. This isn't a movie. It's not a reality TV show. It is reality. We're seeing it at this level, and people above that are pulling strings. They're yanking their puppets around and making them do and say things to screw with Trump, to interfere. But there are real world consequences for us as people, as Americans. And finally, I'm going to say as preppers. We are looking at some serious economic issues this year. I'm going to leave the natural disaster that's developing out here in California. I'm going to leave what's going on off the East Coast with spy ships and the Russians. just leaving that aside, look at what's going on in our country. Inside our own borders, there is a fight in Washington for power. There's a fight in Washington for power. We had an election. And Trump won. If Trump was one of the good old boys, they wouldn't be resisting what he wants. So he must not be one of the good old boys. Not in the usual sense. And I predicted, back when Hillary was running, I said she is the type of candidate who is a scorched earth personality. If she can't win, she'll destroy everything. If you try and expose her, she'll destroy everything and burn everyone with her. These Democrats, these social Marxist types, they are not going away. They are talking openly now about impeaching Trump before he's even done anything. What are we to make of this? The fervor. He hasn't been in office a single month yet. The fervor of opposition cannot be attainable. It can't stay this high. Trump came out firing both guns, talking about what he wanted to do, which was great. The Democrats are back on their heels. Now they've got their balance, and they're leaning forward, and they're pushing back. And Trump is facing both them and the whole world. And there are very few on his side. What am I to make of that as an American? I don't necessarily agree with all his policies, but I'm seeing what the man is facing. Not just his enemies, but the state of our nation. We are in dire shape here. If there was ever a time to prepare in peacetime, now is it. Now is the time. Get prepared. Because the Democrats are not going to quit. And they're going to be willing to bring the whole system down. They're street-level minions. Right? Their little brown shirt Nazi youth and the provocateurs on the street level, they are more than willing to commit violence. And they're going to do it again soon. They're going to do it again soon. Republicans in Washington are spineless. I want to see some spines grown, backbones. I'm sick of hearing Trey Gowdy talking shit, and no one's going to jail. If you're doing a congressional investigation and you're that upset, start sanctioning these government officials. Start prosecuting these government officials. Start demanding that they be fired if they're doing things wrong in Washington. But they appear to be spineless. Hold them in contempt. You know, it's incredible to me that it's nothing but talk and hot air, if we can get that out of them. And on Wall Street, there is nothing happening except charades to convince the American people that the economy's fine by holding the stock market up high, while everyone sends their money there and it gets stolen. You know, how do we fix this? I don't think we can. Trump's going to have to battle it alone. We can support him or not. It doesn't matter. I don't think the man's going to quit. I don't think he's going to quit, and he shouldn't quit. There was talk about, well, he needs to resign. I'm thinking, for what? Well, he hasn't got anything done. Well, he's been in less than a month, and every time he tries something, there is a fervor of screams, as if a classroom full of little girls, right, got excited because Elvis walked in. It is beyond the pale. The immaturity of Democrats and the opposition to Trump. The lack of intellectual understanding and discourse is beyond me. It makes what is visible in Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged, when you get towards the end of the story, the ridiculous stupidity of the politicians in that novel. It made me laugh when I read it in the early 90s. I thought, this is ridiculous. How can people be that stupid? Yet here we are today, with politicians so stupid that they rival characters from a novel intended to look and sound idiotic. Trump needs help. This nation needs help. The best we can do is prepare. So I recommend you do it. Food, shelter, clothing, water, and a means of self-defense combined with a plan. Because when we have a failure in the system, when one of the cogs on the gear gets stripped off, the machine is going to really stop working. If we have an economic or financial pop on Wall Street, in the financial sector, if something goes wrong, this nation will go into panic mode. If we are attacked by our enemies, cyber attack or a terror attack, now we are weaker than ever, because politically there is zero solidarity in this country. There is no talk of a united America. There is no talk of working with each other across the aisle. It is a bunch of horseshit. And if I was an enemy of America, I would be cheering louder than ever. Trump has his hands full. He's doing what he can for the nation. You, as an American, need to do what you can for yourself and your family and loved ones. Get prepared now. That's my recommendation to you. Get prepared. There is no better advice I can give than to say, get a year's worth of food for you and everyone that you give a shit about. Tell your friends and family to do the same. They need to do the same. Get a means of self-defense. That is, get some weapons. Because when the hordes get turned loose, when all the idiots who miss their entitlements because they've dried up and blown away, you are going to have a bloodbath in cities. And I need to do a video on population density and how that's going to affect human behavior. And that idea was given to me by one of the fan funders on the site. Thank you for the funding. Thank you for the donations, that is. And thank you for the idea to talk about population density and how that affects people, their behavior, and the choices they have. Okay. And I think I'm going to wrap it up. I think I've said enough about Trump and what he is facing and how that comes down the ladder, how the shit rolls down the hill to us. It is not promising at all. Because if he does anything, it's going to be combated. There is money, political pressure, monetary pressure, financial pressure, economic pressure, all pressure pushing against Trump. Pushing in a way that is destructive for America. And we need to do what we can, and there's not much. But that includes protecting yourself and your family. So please do so. Please give this and all videos a thumbs up. All Shit It's the Fan Prepper videos on all channels. It's very important. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so yet. Please hit the share button and link. Link this to your other friends and family through, I guess, Facebook, Twitter, GChat, email, and text. And you can follow me on Twitter at mypreparedmind, just so that when I do uploads of videos, it'll send you a Twitter alert letting you know I've done so. It's just another way to get the message out that videos are out, or if I have special messages. Okay, so that's I'm not a big Twitter person. I'm not big on social media, but I decided that Twitter would be a good one to use because there's not any commercials and there's just not a lot of horse shit to go with it. So I'm going to give it a shot and use it to help promote the need for us to prepare, to take proactive approaches to dealing with the problems our nation faces on a personal level. That is what we can do for ourselves. All that said, I'm John, host of the Prepared Mind channel. Thank you again for tuning in. Semper Fi. Chance favors the prepared mind. And Jesus, we need a lot of help in this country. We'll see where it goes next. Please, please, do what you can. Get prepared now. Bye-bye.